602, not bad. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's TRI Crypto Countdown. TRI's Crypto Top 100 Review. TRI's Crypto Show. One person watching on YouTube, so not too concerned about saying the wrong thing here. But welcome back to our frivolity. Every Wednesday I throw on this show. I never know if anybody's going to watch. Usually, actually, by the end of this, we have a few people watching. But anyway, welcome back to the frivolity. And wow, what a crazy day it was. Fed Day. And actually, interesting, our notes on the previous broadcast. And I kind of like the idea of sort of making a forecast of what you think is going to happen. And then, you know, sort of like, I like the idea because when we do these shows on Wednesdays, it feels as though like there's two halves of this show and two halves of the market. There's sort of like the Thursday, Friday into the weekend half. And then there's the Sunday afternoon after I do the broiler chicken show, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday part of the week. And it's remarkable how they're very schizophrenic. And actually, that's one thing that I've noticed a lot doing these shows. So, interesting to have this note where I was expecting the market to rally into the Fed and then sell off afterward. And in essence, the market did exactly the opposite thing. So, it just goes to show you never know what the hell's going to happen in the market. And now, actually, what's most important now is we just need to interpret what has happened and whether that sets anything up. So, welcome back to the broadcast. There's a few people that watch this show. I think we do a pretty good job analyzing assets. Specifically, this is a crypto show. Gotta tell you, man, there's a couple cryptos out there that I've been going quite gaga over of late. So, you know, with what's happened in the Fed, with the Fed down in the States, and the market's reaction. Actually, we're in a really interesting little window here, boys and girls. I'm actually, believe it or not, getting buy signals spitting up. So what the hell? We haven't talked about that in a while. So I think before we get moving on any further in earnest, take the opportunity to sort of introduce you to the speakers. I'm not quite sure what's the best way to do this. You know what I need from all of you that watch this through the week? Would you like to have some sort of talking head bobblehead? Would you like to have an actual picture? I mean, I guess I'm more than happy to put myself on camera. I can't really speak for my co-hosts. But I wonder whether it's such a big deal in sort of video land, you know, social media, that you have somebody actually talking on camera. So if anything, take the opportunity and just write a comment and just tell us, because we need that feedback. I'm by nature camera shy, so I don't really, I wouldn't by nature want to come on and show my face. But anyway, it doesn't matter here and there. Point is, probably a good idea to introduce you to who the hell's talking and who else is going to be talking here tonight. So, without further ado, my name is Brian Beamish. We run this site called TheRationalInvestor.com. This is our fun little spreadsheet that we put together that we do specifically for this particular show. And actually, it's really cool. One of the co-show host that's with us tonight, he actually put this little app together that sort of summarizes that spreadsheet. Super, super cool. And by all means, you know, you can see the screen little QR code, so you can grab this for your cell phone if you want, right, even right now. I suppose we can put the actual address in the comments field, however this thing works. Maybe I'll do that afterward, just so if you want it. But also, too, we run a, where are we here? Gotta find the right page. We run a website. Actually, a gentleman and I, Julian Speranza, and I set up this website years ago, if I can find the darn page. Oh, here it is over here. Silly boy. And we had another gentleman join our triumvirate, Sjord. Put this actual website together, and really a great privilege of this experience of mine has been able to sort of pass the message of our education. Oh, there's Crazy Da Vinci. I haven't heard too much from him lately. I'll see how he's doing. Anyway, there's Stuart right there. Actually, I don't know whether Julian's picture here. Of course, that's me. There's the back of my head. So. I think it's been a pretty positive experience. I continually get told by the public that this was a net positive experience for the world. So I'm actually, and I was even spent a lot of time in our daily brief on the site, our daily video, just thanking everybody in the community. I'm really enjoying the experience working with all of you. So this is our website, and like I said, Principal Stuart and Julian helped me put this together, and we have actually a fairly large staff. Geez, 15, 20 people now, I suppose. And we do, I think, a pretty robust education program. You can see all the different classrooms from the years gone by. And we have a lot of sort of public free content. I'm going to say this. Where are we here?
This is our website.
There's the page. And actually, the cool part about it is not really many people watching, so I'm not really talking to anybody in particular. Probably talking to people more who will watch this video later on. Actually, look at that. There's our live thing, so you can actually watch it right there from now. But I gotta say, this has been a pretty positive experience. I've actually had people tell me that they can learn to trade just watching these fun weekend videos and stuff. I have fun. Few tutorials. Some tutorials have just gotten staggeringly huge hits over the years. Also, too, I like this webpage. I've just put together some really basic video content that I think that, if you understand crypto, this is the guy who's actually the big police officer in crypto right now, so you better watch his video. Also, too, if you want to know how the actual money system works, really great resource. There's Josh. Josh actually been a great recent addition to the team since, I wouldn't say recent, I mean, he's a TRI OG. But he's been running the Twitter page, which is so cool, the TRI PMA page. Guess our social media arm, if you will. I'm not really that big social media guy. Josh is just so cool. He's just the best. So anyway, that's Josh's baby. So maybe take a moment and visit his channel. We promoted on our YouTube page. So we have the YouTube page. I mean, gee whiz, tons and tons of free content there. And the website itself, we do have a 30-day trial. And, of course, just ridiculous amount of content here. I mean, if you go into the video archive alone, God, this thing goes back years now. We've been running this website now for such a long time. I guess since 2014. And really well categorized daily. I mean, you can, let's say, I don't know, you want to see information on Luna, because Stuart, of course, loves Luna. There's actually nice diarized information here for you. So, actually, the latest sort of addition and sort of where I'm going with all this is we've added a lot of sort of algorithmic thinking to the website now with tools that actually give us sort of a cumulative reading of market strength or weakness, and I think this serves us really well. And anybody around the website should look at that image and go, oh boy, it actually looks like the market's about to rally. And what I found really interesting, again, crypto is an excellent leading indicator. You can fight this stuff if you want, which is so funny, or you could just go with it. I mean, this darn indicator turned up back in the middle of April. It hasn't been an easy slog, I'll tell you that much. It hasn't been easy whatsoever. But it's funny how now, really what we're going to spend tonight talking about, what letter of the alphabet does that look like? Holy free holies. That's what I said. I'm actually a little surprised how the market actually behaved through here. We actually finished last week's broadcast here. And here we are, basically almost dead even with where we finished the broadcast. So this is it's an absolutely remarkable experience working with all you, commentating on the market. and getting to work with some really, really great people. Great people, and now I've had the privilege to actually train them, and now they're turning into just incredible traders. We have traders all over the world now, just beautiful people. So tonight, most of the time I do these shows, I actually don't do them. I do them primarily on my own. But this show's been a lot of fun in that I invited sort of site members to come on and just talk crypto. People that actually probably know crypto a hell of a lot more than I do. I can talk price charts, but that's about it. And one gentleman actually has been on with me. Basically, what are we? We're episode 43 now. So he's put up with me for 43 weeks. We lost 2 of the 3, but Ben made it through. Hello, Ben. How you doing this evening, sir?
I'm great. Yeah, and great to be here for the 43rd episode.
All right, awesome.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah, well, we might actually make a full year. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, coast to coast.
Only 10 weeks left. Actually, wow. And speaking of coast to coast, right? Well, I guess we weren't doing these when Sedona Euphoria was popping her head up. Do you remember Sedona Euphoria?
I remember you threatening to change your name.
Yeah.
I don't think I went. It might have been like maybe right before.
Yeah, I think it was.
Before we picked up the show.
I think half of my reaction, disappointment with you know who was to start these shows up. Get out there and talk to the public about crypto. Because I kind of felt like they were actually, the public was being kind of misled there a little bit, I think, last year. Anyway, it's here nor there. Great to have you on board again here tonight. And
It was a pleasure.
Can't wait to talk crypto and have your assistance in helping me understand this market a little bit better. And we have a new addition, but this guy's just tearing up the market. It's beautiful to watch. Our Romanian nightmare, Paul on the call. How you doing this evening, Paul?
Hello.
There you go. hello. And actually, it's early morning for Paul right now, so he's probably actually still waking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, how's the weather in? Do you live in Bucharest? Is that the capital of Romania? No, you're actually Are you near the Black Sea? I don't know. Do you even want to talk about that?
The other side of the country.
Oh, the other side. Okay, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Anyway, hopefully life in Romania is treating you well.
Yep.
And gotta say, I love a big part of what's gonna actually dictate whether you do well at this crazy game, which kind of sucks. I mean, squiggly lines are one thing, but I'll tell you, and actually what we do on the website is we actually set up a. Actually, I don't know whether I know we have the links in the library here to the personality test. I thought we had it on here, but actually a really helpful guide for you to try and figure out who you are is take some time and go through one of these sort of personality tests. I think they call them, what is it called? Breaks and Weeds or something like that. I always get the name wrong. Do you know the name, Ben? Can you remember what it is? There's a specific name to these personality tests.
Myers-Briggs, is it?
Myers-Briggs. There you go. Thank you so much. What did I say? I said Briggs and Briggs. Anyway, so after I did this test, and of course it agreed to a trader's type personality, and actually the sort of character traits. I kind of fancy myself whenever I sort of introduce myself to people. I fancy myself as a Morpheus for all of you, and I just want to bring the best out in each and every one of you. And Paul here, I think, if anything, man, he's learned how to trade the matrix. It's damn cool. So actually, there Paul says he is an INTJ. So I'm not sure what type of personality that actually are. Did you, and by all means, Paul, if you feel like adding, You can see lots of people, site members, have over the time added their personality type as sort of a way to help. I guess there's INTJ, is that what you said? So actually you're a lot like Scott. And Scott was so cool. Scott and I used... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I am DJ.
Yeah, so... here's another INTJ. So INTJ seem to be attracted to trading. Anyway, I was saying I sort of started all of this off. Ironically enough, half of what's actually going to dictate whether you do well at this game is if you can just do what you say you're going to do. I'm the type of person I actually fancy myself as I want to try and demonstrate stuff. So, which they always say that's actually a really great way to sort of affirm that you actually know a topic, is if you can actually teach it to somebody else. So it gives me a lot of pride to teach these people. I've had a great opportunity teaching Paul and Ben. And actually, it's funny. I think I almost see Benkoff checks in my sleep nowadays. Like literally every single chart I see right now is a Benkoff check, which is adorable. And Derek, I always think of you. Now, the irony of it all, Ben, is we named it the Benkoff check. But whenever I say the name, I always think of Derek. And Derek goes, that's the Benkoff check, man. We're going to make him famous. I love that. So anyway, Derek, if you are watching out there in the world, miss you, bud. PMA and peace. And of course, Nick, I suppose, getting settled into his new digs. I hope he's doing well. So, you've been introduced to the crew. And of course, if there are any TRIers who fancy themselves crypto aficionados and you'd like to work on your public speaking skills and hang out with the old man for a bit, maybe learn a thing or two, feel free to reach out and let us know you'd like to participate. Now, if Paul can get up at whatever ungodly hour in the morning he gets up in to participate, you can too. Okay, so with that said, blah, blah, blah. That was an interesting sort of rant there. Give you a little sales pitch for the site. And of course, if you do want to sort of explore this part of your personality, feel free to pop on the website. Like we said, 30-day trial. And sort of get to see some of the different things that we sort of set people up for running your business of trading. Feel free to take advantage of that, and maybe consider, if you really want to take that next step and get really serious about this, consider joining our education program. It starts, as you can see, 23rd of May. If anything, I'm a little concerned. I actually kind of wanted this school term, this term, to actually be a bit quiet, so we could have a nice little group of people to work with. But if the market starts going ape poop again here and all hell breaks loose, this place is going to become a stampede again. So, if anything, we're going to see what happens over the next few weeks. Things could get pretty interesting, I'll tell you that much, by crackers. I might actually even post an outright bullish vote here this week. Anyway. All right, so there's the sales pitch for the site. And like I said, man, I love this indicator. Man, it's actually done a very, very good job. I didn't personally think just in the short term we were going to hold in here. I totally thought we were going to puke out. But like a champ, the market has gone and put in quite a well-defined double bottom here. And the whole risk market, right, if you look right across the board, the whole darn risk market just lifted like a son of a gun here today. There's a really, really good analogy of why you want to wait for the Fed to actually tell you, don't fight the Fed. And in a weird sort of way, this actually was a scenario, a very odd scenario. I don't see this every day, but of course, this crazy 6 celestial events time window, man, there's tons of stuff that I've never seen before happening here. Crude oil going to minus $30 a barrel. What the hell? This is insanity. And now, hundreds of bazillions and gazillions of dollars. I mean, technically, could you not have been paid to just take one of those tankers and just float it out in the ocean, and now you could turn around and sell all that crude at the ridiculous money? I mean, what the hell? We talk about cats and dogs living together. So, really good lesson. And the weird thing is you guys are all going to grow up, And you're gonna, you know, the younger part of it, I suppose all the older people not, but if you're relatively new to the market, you're gonna actually believe that this is normal, what's going on right now. And I can tell you, as a guy who's been, I got my first job in this business in 1988 for a company called Burns Fry in Ontario, Toronto, Ontario. And a guy who's been playing this game that long, this is not normal. Very odd behavior. And as, of course, Uncle Klaus has told us, this is his great reset. It's not really his, and the irony of it all is people actually blame him. We go through these resets about once every 80 years or so. And wow, this one's a doozy because we also have a couple other cycles, the sickness cycle, the war cycle, the demographic cycle. Just tons. I bet the water cycle is also in there too somewhere. So anyway, this is what it looks like, basically chaos. But the bottom line here is we had a situation here today, very odd situation, where the market was actually pricing in an overmove by the Fed. The market was so jacked by the Fed and they're freaking out about inflation and everybody in society freaking out about inflation that the market actually believed that the Fed was going to go 75 points and instead they only went 0.5%. And so in a weird sort of way, what we're getting is a massive relief rally out of the risk market. Like, whoo, phew. So go figure. The interesting thing about this, though, is that, like I said there a moment ago, man, we got some pretty damn good looking W's coming in here. Now, is this sort of long-term investment grade sort of turn? I don't think so. I think there's still a hell of a lot to cleaning up. And we're nowhere near cost of production and all that kind of conversation. But, the bottom line in this kind of sort of highly emotionally charged world, we put in this nasty M here back at the beginning of April. And we've just been working that pattern lower and lower and lower, just making lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower high and blah, 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 blah. Now, with that sort of pattern broken, maybe we can actually start changing the tone of the conversation. It's a good start. And if anything, sort of higher time frame, bigger picture looks. I've been sort of scratching my head for the past little while because theoretically into this May-June window, we should have actually seen some sort of rally. When I did these kind of studies looking at previous cycles. And I really do think that we're in this sort of similar cycle. So I was really perplexed by the fact that we went straight up there into March and then straight down. When I would have thought that this was going to have some legs into May and then roll over through the summer. So maybe if we're really lucky, we can get that push up here now and actually get some sort of seasonal bounce going here. Because I'll tell you, so far it's just been bleh. And I also warn people that somebody put out a message saying, and of course this always happens, Brian Bearish, I'll put out a tweet saying I expect the market to come down into 10 to 15,000 cost of production, all that. But I'm not thinking about that happening until this is a while down the road. I actually like what I heard out of Chair Powell here today. So I got a feeling we're closer to some sort of seasonal bottom. And the way the market itself acted, that felt like it too. Actually, guys like Julian, we had a fun meeting on the site through the Fed meeting. And Julian's over there in Thailand. Actually, maybe I put the chart away. That's too bad if I did. Julian was over there in Thailand. And, of course, Julian's a young guy, so... keep in mind, old man like me, I can't handle the kind of cardiac stress that young guy like him can handle. He went and strapped on a big-ass long position right on the break higher. I thought I had the charts up here. Yeah, here we are on I think it was it Bitcoin? Paul, were you in the meeting? Remember which market? Maybe he was trading ES. But through here, he caught a really, really nice trade. So congrats again, Julian, if you're watching this later on. It's very impressive.
Golden and the ES.
Was it ES? Okay, so yeah, I got the market wrong.
And ES.
Yeah. We were talking about this 2.618. So we had a lot of fun. We had actually just a public hangout through the day, and we were commenting how the market was just up and down like a you know what. Were you able to ride that there today, Paul? Did you do anything on that move higher in crypto?
Unfortunately, no.
No, I
I just
remember.
took a shot on the top.
Yeah, I remember we started out the day this morning with actually a bit of a bearish sentiment. I think Paul said that he shorted that, and then he was just told to cover his trade at that scratch, eh? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, 2 trades at scratch
Yeah.
on the short side.
And I got to tell you, folks, if anything, this is a really good lesson in why. Basically, this is the Fed announcement event. Where are we here? Right there. So there's the Fed announcement event. Boom. And this is a 5-minute chart. So interesting. The Fed announces, and it might have been through this window here. You know, I can't remember. I thought it was 11:30 that they announced it, but it might have been 11. Market actually initially knee-jerk reaction was down. And then Chair Powell started talking, and it was interesting. Market was still pretty kind of waffly. And right out of the gate, he goes, inflation is too high. And then he starts saying, but everything else is looking really good. And the economy actually is strong enough it can handle higher interest rates. Which is kind of what the market wants to hear. Is the Fed, the banksters, think that the economy is actually pretty strong. The interesting thing, though, is that he basically came out and said that he is going to be Mr. Volcker, and he is going to be this generation's war on inflation kind of guy. Which, again, I think the market liked hearing that. It wanted to hear that. But what was interesting was also he said, one thing that jumped out at me was, somebody just posted something in the lounge. This one's for you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't mind that. Interesting. Somebody just posted this in the lounge. We'll get to this in a moment. You know, I had that megaphone on the chart, but this is what somebody's posting in the lounge. So interesting. Came down into it looks like a harmonic. And now we're working our way up. This looks a hell of a lot like a megaphone. And, of course, there's a big fat W. If I'm not mistaken, I think I even had a downtrend line, and my rule is we got to wait for a first W on the other side of a trend line. I don't know if I have that chart. We can show you that probably later on. Sharky. An ex-con. Nobody wanted to hire an ex-con. That's funny. Ricardo Montalban. Actually, no, we're playing on. We're all going to go, Portugal! But I probably blew up Google. Whenever I do that, Chris always tells me that my microphone blasts out and just Google loses the feed. Okay, back to our story. So the point is, you can see the market was pointing down. All of a sudden, Mr. Fed announcement, we're going to raise 50 basis points, which I think caught the market a little bit by surprise because they were kind of pricing in 75 basis points. We were watching things like the euro-dollar market. It was just zipping all over the map. And then, you know, as he kept talking away, the market just reversed and it just ripped higher here. So it was a really, really good lesson in Foggenbaum and 2.618 extensions. And then what I thought was really interesting was into the end of the day, they always say don't short a dull market, but Brian's a glutton for punishment. I actually had a really interesting little topping signal come up here, and I just, you can see I'm just working this short. And it just seems to be working away, so really nothing's changed there. So that's a pretty violent reversal, folks. No doubt about it. You can see the U.S. dollar index, which was going absolutely ballistic here recently. I think it's broken. In fact, actually, I thought I saw somebody put a tweet out to that effect. You know, we have a really simple rule around TRI, and of course in the public, you probably heard this before. Ben, what are we supposed to think if we ever see the market smiling at us? And in this one, actually, this is also winking too.
Wants to take your money.
Yeah, that's a very bearish sign. Now, this happens to be the US dollar index. And technically, actually, this should be a risk on vote. Because what this really is saying is everybody was freaking out in the market. They were selling all their tech stocks, selling their NASDAQ, selling Bitcoin, selling Ethereum, selling everything, and just going and parking their money in T-bills. This is a message to you, everybody in the public, that the fund managers have been officially told, get your money out of T-bills and put it back to work in the market. That's really what that image is. So actually, Chris, if you're watching this later on, you want a nice little sort of sound bite for the cool little videos. It's a sort of a latest project that Julian's got the team working on. I say, man, I'm pretty damn impressed. They actually were able to sit through a 2-3 hour rant of mine the other day and actually pick apart my rant here. This one here, 100 years of the stock market history. And literally, I could not have summarized the market state any better. And what's so fascinating is that Chair Powell even talked about this exact same thing today. Exactly the same thing. Chair Powell said it. And I was like, well, there you go. Must be on to something. I'm not going to tell you what he said. Go watch his testimony. Go watch that video, 100 years of the stock market. And what was our sort of concluding thought of when you should actually expect everything to rally? And like I said, Chair Powell even said the same damn thing today. So love the idea that the market's rallying. That's awesome. Love the idea that maybe the market kind of overshot this idea that the Fed was going to go absolutely haywire on interest rate increases. Love the fact that the bond market itself seems to have found some footing. So the fact that the mortgage rates, I mean, you know, the problem here is that the whatever, and there really wasn't a housing bubble in the States, but whatever housing bubble there was, I think they've put that genie back in the bottle with this massive increase in mortgage rates. This like literally doubles the cost of a price of a mortgage. And the amount of money that you're paying the banksters here on like a $500,000 $1 million mortgage over the term is just insane. Makes me sick to my stomach. Go make $500 $1 million in crypto, bang out, you know, doubles, triples, quadruples, and ride a venture cap rally market, and just go buy the house outright. Don't get sucked into this mortgage trap. Anyway, I don't like mortgages. You know me, neither a debtor nor lender be. So point here is that this has actually gone a long way to achieving the Fed's desired sort of goal to cool things down. And if anything, I actually wouldn't be surprised if the Fed actually wants this to come back down a little bit, because this is ramping up pretty damn hard and fast. And the interesting thing about this is I actually think something like this is the root cause to why the Chinese bubble is collapsing and bursting. The mafia, under normal market conditions, would be held account to the ridiculous theft of wealth from both the Chinese people and sort of everybody else in the world. But they've got this very convenient excuse where they're locking tens of millions of people into their homes and blaming it on the sickness when, to all intents and purposes. Hell, I think I heard that... what's the latest one? The Secretary of State dude there down in the States just got COVID, right? All right, and actually, you don't really follow that stuff, do you, Ben? Do you even know who the Secretary of State is?
Yeah, if it's not a prime minister, I don't know.
Oh, actually, isn't that interesting? So you follow Aussie politics a little bit closer?
No, actually, to be honest, I think all Australians follow American politics more.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's more fun. But I'll
Anyway,
have to have a look into that.
Point I guess I'm trying to make is I wouldn't be surprised if I have COVID right now, even though I just took a sip of my fruit juice and I could still taste the fruit. So, and actually the way that I use, and it's kind of a stupid sense of humor, but the way that I use to find out whether I'm sick or not is I just don't bathe. And if I still stink when I wake up in the morning, then I know I'm not sick. But nobody seems to laugh at that joke. Anyway, so like I said, this has probably gone a long way to deflating whatever bubbles. And what I would say, and this should be really interesting, is how does this chart affect things like the ridiculous Canadian real estate market? And Canada could be in for quite a shock here. We'll see how it goes, but anyway, you guys all know about. And actually, if anything, it's a really good market lesson. The end of the commodity cycle, who's getting whacked? Russia, and they've got a war going on. Slightly manufactured to maybe distract the public on how bad things really are, maybe internally. I don't know, maybe. Canada, of course, truckers, now bikers in Ottawa. And actually, things in Australia have actually calmed down a bit lately, eh? Remember, it was getting a little chaotic there a while ago. So it is interesting to see how the commodity countries are really taking it on the chin. Anyway. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Holy moly, Brian can talk a hell of a lot. Shut the hell up. Okay, so let's get on with the show here and what we're supposed to be talking about. Yeah, so the grand difference is a total of $200 from last week. Is that real?
I think so.
Yeah. I thought that was a bit surprising. As I showed you, somebody just posted in the lounge. I guess somebody sees this megaphone that I showed you guys. I guess this might be a different one. I'm not sure if it's the same one. But I do kind of like the idea of a rally here. So this is an interesting game, though, eh? Going from Wednesday to Wednesday. Isn't it? It's kind of a different perspective, eh, on how you measure things. So I do see a lot of these sort of swings through the week, and we end up not really actually changed a hell of a lot. Maybe they do that on purpose for the weekend, so the crypto kids freak out either bullishly or bearishly, and then Wednesday they just hit the reset button.
Yeah, I feel like crypto tends to do some crazy things over the weekends in general. Yeah.
Okay, so I said bull, so I was thinking at least 5% up, but guess that was a bit aggressive. Who's that? Nick? Nick wasn't here. And I think we'll probably try and move these over. Paul was also bullish with me. I guess you were too, eh? All three of us were bullish. And interesting how we spent. And isn't that funny? And I like doing this sort of like, okay, this sort of schizophrenic part of the week. First part is this, second part is that. So it's just fascinating how I put that, because basically that was the exact opposite of what happened, eh? If we didn't have today's Fed, like, because Fed announcement, market was down here. What was it? Oh, no, actually, I guess into the Fed, actually, it had worked its way up pretty high, eh? Seem to remember that. So, I guess where am I going with this? We are all super bullish. I think I'd probably give another bullish reading, but why don't we do the show and then we'll do our final votes afterward. So I guess the question is, what do you think is the best use of our time? Should we just keep pounding our way through these things, or do you want me to look at anything in particular? Do we want to take anybody? There's a couple of people over on YouTube. 16 people. That's not so bad. How do we do that? Wonder if that got added to the playlist. Oh yeah, it did. Cool. There it is. So I guess the question is, what do you think is the best use of our time? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. VPRs. Yeah, that's what I thought. They're dropping like flies. But nobody's like getting hospitalized or anything, eh? So Acarrera says, Brian, what do you think of taking a position on DOT? Well, we can always look at it. Did we look at DOT recently? That sounds like one that would have been in our top 100.
Yeah, I think it was a bit higher up in the list.
What would it be called? Just DOT?
There you go. Rank number 8, Polkadot.
Polkadot, there it is.
Number 7.
So, that one?
9, there you go. Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one.
So, Brian, buy 1876, stop 1600. Let's see what happened. We get smoked out. Well, there is the chart. Let's see what happened. Tether USD on Binance. I tell you, man, that one looks pretty damn good. Oh, when I saw that today, I couldn't believe it. Look at that chart. Holy free holies. I even tweeted that out today. I couldn't believe that. So I told the boys I was happy with them if they wanted to go pick up some. And we had this fun little group. Shane, Andrew, and I. We used to get together regularly. Shane's gone, and he's actually, I think he's still in Florida. So he actually is closer to Ben than he is me. And actually, they picked up some of that for that little joint fund. I'm not quite sure what their cost basis is. I know Andrew is working with Colin and the Magnus people. And I think Colin really likes this. I think he's part of this group, and he's pretty heavily involved in this. Well, I don't know. I can't comment on that. I'll reach out to him if you want to. That's Random Task on Twitter. I don't know if Andrew does the social media thing or not. But anyway, damn! Look at that chart. Holy shit! Man, I'm sorry for the swears, but wow, what a looking. That's a looker if I've ever seen one. So I don't really tweet that much about these little ones. I don't really tweet individual picks that often, and quite often the W's that I do post, they get busted out. But wow, that one sure looks good. Okay, so DOT, and this is versus crypto on Binance. I guess that one, eh? Let's see what it looks like. Oh, geez, look at that. Oh, wow, that's incredible. What low is that? 1405. It went to 1418, 1448, 1466. So they never took it through that low. That's incredible. Wow, holy moly. That's a tough one. I suppose there was a cute little trade that developed here. It ramped up. Then it came dumping back down in it. You had like a stink bid working. You probably got flushed out on that through here. The way that I mean, the irony of it all is that, and it's kind of funny. Well, just very quickly. The guy that I learned to trade W's off of, he actually, when I first worked with him back in the 1980s, he used to say, buy the W breakout level and place your stop below here. And then I worked with him so long that he actually ended up changing his story. And he's like, if you work your stop here, I get stopped out so often that you're best to just risk the entire formation. Of course, that's awfully painful to have to risk all the way down to there. But, wow, what a good example. If this actually is the W, that is the bottom, and this low holds, holy moly, is that ever a good lesson in that? So, don't mind that there. Looked good. This is probably one of these kind of ideas where the location is so good, you could probably justify nanny nibbling kind of thing. I don't know if I went off of this low. Down in there. There's a reload zone all in here. Or whether we did off of that low, the entire range. Down there, you might as well just go off of 0, eh? That's what Mr. Gann would do. That's sort of in the middle of the reload zone. But anyway, you shake it. I actually really don't mind buys down here. The only problem with trading M's and W's, and you just got to understand this, folks, is you're kind of trying to sharpshoot the market, and as a result, you might get stopped out. It does happen. So this would probably be a good example where you maybe you're thinking long here, maybe you're like, okay, can I get a W in here? There was a cute little W that came in right there, and then it just M'd out, puked out, boom, you're stopped out. Sucks, but it is a trader's life. I'd probably say, is this actually structuring on the other side of that trend line yet? Yeah, so it broke out. If anything, you know what this is a good example of is it breaks out and you're kind of like, okay, show me a W. Now, did that qualify as a W or was that a head fake? I mean, I wouldn't fault you if you took that little W there. Boom, stopped out. Now, that's interesting. This it's funny because in the education material, I used to teach for the longest time that those were haramis. And if the body or the tail of the baby, this is the baby and this is the mummy, if it was outside of the mummy's body, then we couldn't call it harami. We'd have to call it bull rami in this case. So here, for example, the low is 1716. The bottom of mummy's body 1720. But the body of this one was actually 1720. That open there. So actually, a student pointed this out that I had to eat some humble pie and respect that the Japanese would still call that harami. I don't like it that much. I would prefer baby and baby's feet and everything be inside mummy's body to call it harami. But I suppose who the hell am I to tell the Japanese what to do? But same sort of scenario here. You can sort of see inside bar. Inside bar did fire. It confirmed. And then we actually came down and tested the lows and then turned back up. So here we go again. Now, I like the idea that this is a bottom end of the range. If you're going to be sharpshooting things like harami or little tight little W's and stuff, are you necessarily going to get off that W or double W? In this case, we worked higher. Well, things are looking okay. Okay, things are looking okay, and then M down and ugh. And interesting, look how, for the traders, I think what's happened here is they just M this thing out. The momentum failed basically at exactly that harami level. So if you fancy yourself a trader, then I think what happened here is you got your buy signal a little bit above the reload zone. Would prefer it to have been down here. That might have been enough to actually prevent you to not take the trade because that's not good trade location. Market works its way up, then M's out. And here maybe if you'd said, look I don't want to be in this thing. It was just an inside bar. It wasn't even in the reload zone, so I'm going to hop off. I wouldn't fault you for that. But badoosh, doosh, doosh, down we go. You can see tried to inside bar again here. So, look at that. So, this, let's see, we got, no, actually we don't have any other inside bars. Well, this is, nope, that was not an inside bar. Yeah, I don't think inside bars have worked very well here on this thing. So, yeah, it is what it is. This is also a W, so that's kind of encouraging. You change that to, there's your W. Down, up, down, breakout. Also 8s and 9s. I think this is a bullish 8 and 9. Meaning that whatever the down move is getting pretty exhausted. So I wouldn't fault you if you said, hey, Brian, I buy W's. And finally we actually have a half decent W here. I wouldn't fault you on that. Bottom end of the range. It's already sort of spat up kind of a few potential, well, not few, two. One here, one here. I thought there was one over here, but I guess not. It's trying to bottom. We don't spit out things like inside bars in like an overtly bearish market. There's a good inside bar you can see, and then woo, big rally following. There's an inside bar right there, big rally following. So you don't see these like in an inside bar that fires. That's not really a bearish setup. That is a bullish setup, but nonetheless didn't really work. Maybe you want to wait for the double bottom. How about things like momentum? Down through here, no signs of divergence. RSI making new lows, Willie making new lows, OBV making new lows. The bulls are nowhere to be found. Bears are pretty active. So I don't know whether we really even have indicator confirmation. Other than the fact that that's an inside bar, there isn't really any buy signals. It's not good trade location, and there's no signals from the momentum indicators. So that looks a little suspect. So it doesn't actually surprise me why this failed here. Down we go. No real confirmed bull div here. So I've made this mistake in the past. I'll tell you, when I work like stink bids, if I see the market coming down into stink bid level, and I think I said like 16 or something on that spreadsheet. What was that? 1876 stop 16. Oops, that's not it. I was wondering why the mouse wasn't moving. There we are. 1876. Oh, so that's off of here. So if you were able to get in, or even if you could have gotten filled that day or that day or that day, great. If you had waited with your bids and we had rolled over here, you might just look at this and go, you know, with the market looking like this, maybe I'm just going to cool my jets. I'll pull that bid. It's up to you. It's obviously your plan. But negative momentum here, no doubt about it. And that idea, as soon as this low is taken out, these little W's here have been negated. So what do we have happening here now? Higher lows in MACD, that's good. So what it looks like to me is this is like the early stages of the bottoming process. Something like that. The MACD here, you can see +2 looks like the highest, 0.002, this number right here that I'm reading. 0.002 there. So where are we now? -6, 0.006. So you'd like to see +0.002. That would be that this thing pushes up into here. And then, with the MACD actually confirmed, then probably the best thing to do would be wherever that rally peak is. Draw your reload zone coming back. I don't know where the rally peak is. Would really like to see whatever the rally peak is here. It pushes MACD up through here. You can see nice looking actually this would be interesting. Not quite on OBV. But we almost had a W in Willie, W in RSI, and almost a W in OBV. So not quite a Davo, but close. I think the way I would like to see this, I'd like to see the push up here, confirm this bull div. That's good to see. Because you can see when it sort of div, and actually it didn't really, I actually got dived out here, right? Actually, isn't that interesting? The bull div never did confirm here, though, eh? Not that interesting. So, I like this. That's good to see. If we can push up through here, this big old bull div is confirmed. And then what hopefully ends up happening here is this is like a shoulder, head, shoulder comes in there. So it goes up, confirms a bull div, then comes back down, gives you a nice W, and away we go. But you really would like this low here to be basically the same level as that level there. So you don't really want the correction to be too steep. We want to rally all the way up into that level there. That would be cool. Then come back down, try and hold these lows and something like that. So that confirms, and then your next move up is something like that. That would be ideal. So, it's good. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done here. It's too bad. I really liked that move there. That was that double bottom that I made reference to. It worked its way up. From 18, it got as high as 23. It's like $4 or $5. Ran into what looks like stiff resistance against this low, that high there. If that's the case, we haven't made it. This is fascinating because this low technically is still in place. We have a guy on the site who likes to trade Adam and Eve setups. Don't know. Actually, this might be like what we call Steve, and then and two Steves, Steven and Steven. Maybe that's what this is. Anyway you shake it, you can see that there is some sort of floor trying to come in here. If you're thinking about new money trades, like I said, that was trying to sort of, think about where trade location is. Remember, that was our primary trend line that we wanted to see a W on the other side of. I think you could actually make it really easy for yourself now and go, all right, so we've got this breakout. Let's get a breakout through that trend line. And kind of like what I just showed you a moment ago, give me a W on the other side of that, and away we go. And maybe that creates another huge, like Adam and Steve. So, well, Steve and Steve, I guess. I don't even know if that is a formation. That's pretty powerful. At the end of the day, really, this is pretty simple. Top of the range, bottom of the range. If you are a range trader, ironically enough, and actually I do this in the day trading almost every single day. In fact, I did a trade in the gold market like this just yesterday. Is this a 2-to-1 setup? Could be. I would, me personally, and maybe you drill down to the 4 hour or something to see that. But, oops. There's the double bottom. Here's where you're going to risk to. And actually, this is kind of cool because I think you just risk against that low there. And does this produce a 2-to-1? 2.29 to 1. So, yeah, that's probably a setup that's working, That wouldn't surprise me. And like we said, that push up into here, this probably is set up off of a lower time frame. So if we go down to like maybe a 4 hour, yeah, so there it is. You see it. So that makes sense. So off of that 4 hour notice, oops. Yeah, it never works. There is the div on the 4 hour. There. It was confirmed right here. So this high here, 06, 07. So 08 was actually confirmed there. Isn't that interesting? That push up there actually confirmed the bullish div. So show me a W now. And ironically enough, actually, that's that breakout right there. So what is this? What type of chart pattern is this? Let's see if my... I'll finally give my co-host an opportunity to say something here tonight. What does that kind of look like? Either one of you can respond if you feel like it. Hopefully I'm not making it too obvious. What's that?
Handle?
Yay! Oh, Paul left. Paul didn't even want to be here. Actually, I think Paul said that there was some internet issues in his neck of the woods. So
Okay.
yeah, I was going for cup and handle. So that kind of looks like a cup and handle. So there's your trade. Hey, there's Paul's back. So I think that's your trade going on right now. And interestingly enough, if you traded the cup and handle, actually you want to risk against the bottom there. That looks like the bottom of the cup. And in fact, there's probably a lot of people that would just risk this lip, but that's probably the W that's in play right now. So 2-to-1 off of that. Where's our trade? Hi, Paul. Is your internet kind of crapping out on you? It's right there. Actually, I kind of like that.
Yeah,
All right.
something like that.
You take it easy, bud. So something like there, to there, to there, to there. Yeah, rally into that area. It's not unrealistic. So that's sort of what I'm seeing. And then remember we said off of the dailies, our most recent trade. For this thing to be like, oh my God, it's a rip-roaring buy. off of the daily charts. We're going to need to see this thing punch up through here, which our 2-to-1 sort of is suggesting that will happen. Then pull back and give us a nice W to get all excited. So that's what I'd want to see for sort of a higher time frame buy. What's interesting about this one, though, right? Remember we did that earlier where we were kind of conjecturing. This is a really awkward place for that that left shoulder. I would have preferred that left shoulder had been deeper. So, a trade? Okay. Is it, we had these big honking W's earlier that we're setting up, and they all kind of fell apart. I guess that's... is that over here? Yeah, I guess that's this. So, is it nanny nibbleable? Yep, I think so. Kind of like Bitcoin of late, in a weird sort of way. Hopefully, maybe you can see this. Maybe if we go like, I don't know, 6 hours, maybe I'll see it. Can you kind of see how this looks like a huge neckline here? Something along those lines. Is there another FU involved here? Maybe. It's crypto. It wouldn't surprise me. But also, too, shoulder, head. At some point, we're heading into the silly season for crypto. Crypto goes a little bit nutso through this time of year. And if anything, thanks to Alan and all that nonsense from last year, I think we actually are hitting like a 1-year anniversary of this down move in the broader crypto market. Sorry. Hey, no problem. That's cool. Paul said he may sound like he's reporting in from the third moon of Jupiter. There's a trivia question. What's the third moon of Jupiter? I don't even know the answer to that. Anyway. So, there's probably the most realistic look for you there. Looks like it's a lower time frame trade setup for you. So that 4 hour, if this is in your trading plan, then rock and roll. It looks like you got something to work with. Of course, you got to be pretty darn solid to be trading these kind of setups. If this W can hold, and I'm getting the feeling like the risk market has got a bit of a bid to it, probably some sort of stab up into this previous trendline resistance. What was support often becomes resistance. I think that's probably a good example of that right up in there. Hopefully you can get your 2-to-1 off. So, and then move your stop to scratch. And if it just, sort of jogs along the trend line and you get another W. Actually, Julian was talking in today's daily brief, or no, it was in our FOMC show about talking about adding to a winning trade. Which I have to say, that is a huge step forward for a lot of traders. If you're so confident in price action and you say mentally, I've seen this before, I know what's going to happen, and you can actually step up and add to a winning trade, then you really know that you've made it. So that was actually a really good thing to hear out of Julian's lips today. I was very impressed with that. Anyway, point here is... if this is continuation and this is quote-unquote the bottom, this is how I'd like to sort of see it play out going forward to try and sneak my way in. If there is something here for me to do, actually, I guess it would be something like that, and try and sneak in off a Mountain Man tag on the other side of that. So, there's my 2 cents. And like I said, off that higher time frame, keeps busting to new lows. Well, not new lows, right? That wasn't a new low. That was they're still actually playing against this low. They're flirting with disaster. If anything, this is probably David's Adam and Eve. That's probably what that is. Or maybe this is Adam and this whole darn thing is a big Olga. Could be. But I gotta say, I'm pretty darn impressed to actually see that she came right down against those lows, stopped on a dime, and turned her way back up. That's kind of cool. So whoever actually noticed that, that's a good eye. And frankly speaking, that's a risk that's probably worth taking. So anyway, there you go. So, bet you didn't expect that. Guy would go on for 20 minutes about your idea. Well, actually, I think that was half an hour. All right. Okay, so what should we do next? Where are we? Why is this not scrolling? There we go.
There's
40.
a couple of other YouTube recommendations, but we've also got a couple on the list that we haven't done before, like Axie Infinity, which I think
This is the video
pretty
game thing,
interesting.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a play to earn game, and that ran up quite a lot last year.
All right. Well, why don't we do this, and then I'll give you my 2 cents, and then we'll
All right.
head on over and look at the other requests. And the person who asked that question, if you could just type in the YouTube our core. Oh. What a doofus! How do you spell it? How do you pronounce that guy's name? I don't know. Can you pronounce it? Arkoiris. So Iris. Corioris? Arcorioris? All right, well.
I think you're giving it a good go. It could be like a wah sound, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I know I have to put like an L on my forehead like that now, right? Guy's probably going, "You're just killing my name, dude." Anyway, just let me know if that was of any help. If I don't know, I hope it helped you a little bit. Okay, so Axie. Isn't that interesting? Is this even on? Oh, there it is there. Axie DeFi Tether. What is this GATEIO? Do either of you have an account on this thing? Ring a bell at all?
No, I don't.
No. Paul, you have any idea who the hell these are?
No,
Oh.
I traded Axie on Binance.
Wow, look at that. Holy moly. I guess people like earn these things inside the game though, right?
Yeah, you can play to earn, and you can. I guess there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can do that. People even have other people earning on their behalf. I think there was a quite a big hack on it recently.
Oh, a hack too?
Yeah, let me look into that.
Oh boy.
I can dig something up for you.
What would be the symbol on Binance? I just typed in crypto and typed in AXIS. What should I type in, Paul?
It would be AXS.
AXS? Like that?
Yeah.
That's it there? Oh, wow. There you go. Oh, so it still has a long way to come down. I'm sure somebody who heard that went, oh, shitty. They had a hack recently, Adam C says. Give Brian a like, guys. Oh, that's awfully sweet of you. Thank you. And 20 people watching. Woohoo! We're going to break the record book. I don't think Google can handle... Oh, actually, we had a hangout. How many people do... I did. Paul, were you in the hangout with us today through the FOMC? I couldn't believe how many people we had in here.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So, I think this is not the correct symbol. This is something else. How about we do that coin gecko? And then we'll type in AXIS like that. Is that it? Axis DeFi? Is that it? Oh man, that's all these different things. There's Axie Infinity down there.
There you go, Axie Infinity, yeah.
Is that it down there? Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I think we broke it.
Maybe try AX.
Oh, AXS, like that. Axie Infinity, there's another one. Number 47.
Yeah, that's the one. That should be it.
Right, let's see what I got here. Hey, there we go. All right, and does it say what markets it's on? Binance. AXS USDT. AXS USDT. Oh, that's got to be it.
Yeah, looks good.
Adam says AXS is right. All right, cool. We'll go with this one. All right, so first things first. I mean, actually, probably the easiest thing to look at is the distribution of volume. So, where were people buying? Boom. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's a session. That's no good. Where is... Oh, interesting. We don't have that one on there. Let's see if we go... Boom. Will it come back? There we go. So this is a really easy way for you to sort of see where the smart money is long this thing. And I think that's pretty obvious. So in the blue and yellow little bars here that you see on the screen, that's where the smart money is long. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because the longer time spends in a range, the more back and forth there is, buy orders, sell orders, all that. And, you know, I think I even explained in a recent show, I didn't know whether it was a weekend one or not. You can actually change this to like a point and figure chart. And this range in itself will contain boxes, and you add up all the boxes. And when we break out through the top, you get a pretty good idea of you know, where the market's going to top out. Also, too, we could apply chaos theory to this range. So things like the bifurcation. Actually, that's kind of cool. So you can see 2.618, doink. I ran right into that, stopped on a dime. So that's also a handy tool to help you sort of see objectives. And even in this particular range, you can see most of the time on this study here, price was down really against this sort of 50, 60, 70 cent area down in here, right? So even this image, so when the market did dump, notice it dumped right into this level where basically everybody was long, and there really probably was no more sellers here. Anybody that did buy up here, they're either going to look at that and go, I'm not going to sell way down there, that's a waste of money. Or they're going to panic dump, and they probably got flushed on this candle up in here. Anyway, so if we zoom out and just even off of this Feigenbaum study, oh, look at that. Worked again. Isn't that incredible how that just keeps happening? It's ridiculous. So 877 would be our next one. Let's see if it got up there. Oh, there you go. 877. Hit. Fail. Isn't that incredible? Man, that's a cool study. That would actually be a fun video to produce. Can you predict when the market's going to pivot? And you just go like this. You just go from this point here. You say right there. You know, some sort of, you bet somebody, you say, I bet this is going to pivot here, here, and here. And then just watch. It's incredible. Anyway, I'm kind of wasting time. But what the hell. Come on, baby. Here we go. Oh, you're too slow. Come on. Alright, chug, chug, chug. And pivot. Theoretically, we should have come back down. Oh, and pivot. Should come back down here, but I don't know how often that happens. So you can see it just hovering. Oh, and next pivot. Whoops. Actually, this is interesting. Look how long it took to get up here. Not yet, not yet, not yet, not yet. There it is. And dump. Oh, that's great. Anyway, just wasting time. Sorry, everyone. So, man, that totally... Oh, look at that. Even hit the 16. God, we could have kept playing that. And actually, this is what I said earlier. What should happen, and actually, this is actually a really cool... Wow, you know, I think we just stumbled upon something here, folks. Notice that when we went up to here, if this actually was the end of the move, what should have happened was we should have gone up to 2.618. then pivoted and come right back down to the 1.0 or the breakout. But notice we didn't. And as we were talking our way through that, I even mentioned, oh, we should come there, but we never did it. And then look at this next one. Rally up. If this was it for this move and the bifurcation was done, we should have pulled back and kissed the 2.618 again. But we didn't. Turned back up, went up to 877. Now notice this. This is interesting. We pivoted, we came back, and doink. Did we hit 4669 there? That's awfully close. But look how we just went straight up. Right up into that 1688. Damn it, that's incredible. So, a little surprised we didn't get the pullback here. So, ironically enough, I think the only sort of trade that you could have gotten in on this move comfortably was this pullback right there into that level there. And then, wow, look at that. Just jackknife straight up to 1688. That's incredible. Stunning.
So are you saying that it's kind of like an exhaustion of momentum when it comes all the way back down and checks, and you're looking at like the last move possibly?
Maybe like this wasn't the move, nor was this. That wasn't the move. The move was this, that one. And then what I always say is that usually markets move in two phases, you know, like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. So really almost all market moves are one leg to another leg and then one leg to another. And the sad thing is it's institutions buy, bid it up, public buys from the institutions. Public sees the price go down. Public sells back to the institutions. Institutions buy, bid it up, public sells. And it's almost like it happened twice. And the first time the public's like, okay, fine, you got me. And then they go through it. And then this it happens again and the public goes, you're not going to screw me twice. You know? That's what it seems like to me. So there is no third one and away we go. So it's your job as the technician to try and figure out what is the move. Was it just this A, B, C, D, and then that was it, and then we were done? Like I said, in this case, I think the move was this, A to B, C to D, which, of course, following the levels, took us just up into the next natural bifurcation level. But the tell was this move here, where, in essence, the harmonic movement by it going up to 877, then coming back down to 4669, this actually cleaned up. This was that here, right? The public bought, and the public capitulates, and then they give the coins or whatever right back to the institutional smart money guys. So that is what that event is here. And I think you can mark it by when a market does one of these moves, but then retraces right back to the previous bifurcation level. I don't know. Hope that makes sense. You want to see this in a really cool way. This is a really cool way to see this image. That's a linear view. What does this look like on a logarithmic scale? It actually looks like that. And now notice that these levels aren't so different now, are they? So what this now means is it kind of goes like that. And you've seen me do this before. Like that. Then like that. And like that. Nope. And like that. Then like that. And like that. And then like that. And like that. So, can you now see the bifurcation? ironically enough, when you look at it from a logarithmic scale, the price movement is irrelevant. Because this is just measuring 1 unit of growth. Right? And 1 unit of growth here is the same as 1 unit of growth here. So, anyway, it's kind of fun. Having fun with charts. Alright. And I suppose you could have probably looked at this originally, this huge initial move, and thought sort of the same thing. That this is nothing more than just a big honkin' A, B, C, D. So, how do you get to your D target level? Okay, so this is sort of the past. It's kind of irrelevant now. Let's go look at the future. Where are we here? Remove, drives, push, gone. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully everybody sees this and sees a big honking head and shoulders. And this is actually what I'm fearful that the Bitcoin head and shoulders looks like. So we got a really big left shoulder, head that's slightly above, but then you have actually a muted right shoulder. So be forewarned. This is actually almost exactly what I think is going to happen with this Bitcoin cycle. Where is that one? It's around here somewhere. Yeah. This here, notice how similar that is. See that rally there? Where the new high really isn't that much higher. There's the left shoulder. But the right shoulder comes in substantially lower. Again, this is a V top, so that always confused me. Notice even this top from the 14 cycle was a very well-defined M. Up, down, up, fail. So I still think there needs to be a test of this high, but just like we're seeing here, your M might look like this. All right, so there's that empire top that we just saw on Bitcoin. This one never did fire, but then we rallied back up into that topping pattern area. And then this is the M, and we roll over, and we never do see this way high, way up here. So I actually think our top's going to look something like that in Bitcoin, but this is a different asset. So let's hope Bitcoin doesn't have to do that. I guess the way to sort of measure this, interestingly enough, if we go back to that log scale, that's probably the best way to measure the impact of that head and shoulders. Head and shoulders up here, even though the price looks big, it's not really that big, like percentage-wise, which is kind of funny, but anyway, that's the power of math. So something, I don't even know if that would be it there, but something along the lines like that. Right there. So that's what I think sort of stopped the bull. Theoretically, your target should be just off of this, there to there, and then just clone that and project that off of whatever that is. So that takes us down into these lows. So I guess that makes sense all there. Fibs, right off the bat, we always want to think, what's a 38.2 retracement? So that's pretty just knee-jerk. And then if this is still a bull market, then Colin and all his buddies will come piling in Colin's pump chaser zone, which is right there. So there's that 50% retracement into the pump chaser zone. So if this was still a bull, you can see the pump chasers, kind of like that other name that we looked at, tried to put in a W and failed. But this one never even did W, because that low right there is lower than that low. So there's your pump chaser zone, attempted sort of re-pump and failure. So I'd say the bull is definitely on the sidelines here. Hindsight's 2020. Just state the obvious, Brian. Let's see. 52-week range, May to this. Oh, interesting. So that is 1 year ago. Isn't that fascinating how in that 1 year period, Doge hit a peak through that. All of the DeFi names had all their rage rally into the end of the year. And that corresponds very, very nicely with that 4-year cycle thinking. Because that's where the 4-year cycle, I think, actually came to an end. Was that rally in November there. So in a weird sort of way, I actually think that this event, this Axie Affinity, and the whole idea that you can actually go online, whether you download software or whatever, and you can actually make a living off of playing a video game, that's a pretty damn big societal leap, and especially like technological, huge, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, accomplishment. I don't know. Is that the right word? And if anything, into the cycle, that actually happened right into that event, and that thing went and topped out, and is all the rage, and fucking half of the population of the country of the Philippines now is doing this. Innovation. Thank you, Ben. Yeah. That's a pretty damn big catalyst. Talk about, they might look back 500 years from now and say, well, the first humans that were turned into online robotic slaves that basically made their livelihoods out of pushing buttons. Mind you, there's a hell of a lot of us that do that anyway. But that's what happened in this cycle peak. So in a weird sort of way, that's actually a pretty good anecdote of the cycle peak. And, probably in very appropriate fashion, the cycle peak has come and gone, and now the correction process is underway. And, ironically enough, from a volume profile perspective, remember what I said? Yellow areas are where most of the people have actually owned this and bought and sold. Can you see how all it's doing is just coming back down to earth? And you can clearly see where value is. That's what this term is, value. And what should happen here, there's no guarantees in this business, but what should happen, and of course my co-host here, we affectionately named this off of him, right? What should happen is we should just do nothing more than just come right back down and check Ben's level here, the old breakout level. And what should happen is there should be actually a bunch of buy orders that are all sitting right at this level. And they were told, maybe they took some crazy ass guy's course that said, don't chase. And they were told, don't chase. And yeah, the thing's going crazy and it's next best thing since sliced bread. But I'm just going to work my order at the breakout level because I'm not allowed to chase. Who knows? So what a coincidence. That's right into the value area. So what should happen here is we should just come down, doink value high, and then rebound off of it. All right? This makes perfect sense. You could say, in this game, we always want to think of 3 reasons to justify taking a trade. And I love piling trade location reasons on just as one reason. But if you can give me like 3 trade location reasons, I'm very interested. So what do you think the odds are that a reload zone is probably in that range as well? Now this is a logarithmic scale, so it's probably a bit higher. It would be interesting to see if that is a reload zone. Boom. Well, close. Well, 88.6 is down against here. If anything, you probably wouldn't want to see it go all the way down here. That would be, that'd probably be technically a bad sign. I guess maybe you could argue that pivot right there is the opportunity where all those people that missed the breakout could get in. But anyway, shake it down in here, I think, is your area I'd be interested in. And also, too, somebody said there's a hack. Notice that this thing is subject to some pretty wild tails. Maybe that's what you look for as sort of your catalyst that a short-term bottom has come in is, maybe some sort of rage quit or hack and a major dump or whatever. Suppose if we go back to a regular scale chart, There is the Benkoff check way down there. It might be interesting to look for some gaps down in this area, see if there are any price gaps. And then ultimately, those are trade location, But ultimately, we really want to see things like confirmed bullish momentum divergences. So you can see, if anything, this is a bad sign. And if you don't know this, write it down. Take a screenshot. You notice that it looks like we actually made higher highs here. So notice this high here, $72. This high here, $74.85. This high here, $75.55. But notice the momentum oscillators did not make a new high. Uh-oh. That's not good at all. So right here, this is actually a very bad sign right there. Because in essence, this is a bearish momentum divergence. And ironically enough, we say, and usually they happen up here, right? We usually say, if you see that, in fact, you can see how the market went to new highs here? But the momentum indicator did not. So you can already see it. But usually what we say is when you see a bearish momentum divergence, which usually comes at the end of a very long, big bull market move, don't touch it. Leave it alone. What do you do when the bearish momentum divergence comes in at the bottom of the market? Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Nothing changes. And sure enough, look at this. Puke out central. What a mess. So probably I see, just if you're thinking about short-term targets. Boom, boom. That clearly looks like some sort of consolidation shelf or floor. Then boom, boom. And remember we said earlier, right? We're thinking about a nice little stab down into Benkoff check levels. This is suggesting that we might even get like a deeper push here. Now, the one good thing that I see happening is you can see the momentum now. We're making lower lows in price, like so, but the momentum indicator is not making lower lows. So that's good to see. The way we usually do it at TRI, we like to teach the 3-step setup, where number one, you want to try and find things like trade location. So, when we're doing our analysis and our little checklist, I would copy this and I would say to the boys, we can say yes to trade location. You're not coming in and buying the top of the market. I hate when people do that. So that's okay. Do we have indicator confirmation? Well, not yet. I mean, it's darn close. You can see this bullish div will confirm. See that number up here? This yellow number that you see printed. Minus 25, minus 20, minus 27. So minus 20, that's the magic number we want to see. And really, we would ideally love to see that just jump up to above 0, because then that would mean it's a moving average cross. So we're at minus 43 right now. So not quite. So we'd say momentum, bullish momentum divergence, not yet. Interesting to see. Willie's nice and stupid. And we actually even have a W in RSI and a W in Willie. Not quite a W in OBV, but you can see the volume impetus. Buyers are actually buying. So there are a number of positives here. In fact, doesn't this kind of looks familiar? Then we looked at another name that just put in this tight W here, right? So there's a whole bunch of these coming in. You know what's probably going to happen here? Seeing all these W's, I think this thing's going to go crazy to the upside here. We're going to get a ton of short-term buy signals. All right, it makes total sense. So that's like the second one that we've seen tonight, right? And we've only looked at 3 names. I don't know how many we're going to get through. Beamish sure loves to talk and not say much. Anyway, if we use this high here, that's a little bit too steep to use, but maybe something like that. I don't know. Maybe we go something like that. If we use these just insanely steep trend lines, well, you're getting those fast buy signals. Got W's on the other side of trend lines. And because this was a high over here, you can't, like, actually, if we draw the trend line off of those highs, it's actually up there. This might even, although it looks a bit early. You know who would be really great to quiz this? If you're a site member who asked about this, let's talk about this on the Daily Brief tomorrow morning. That might be enough for it to actually justify a megaphone thinking. So you can see this is an interesting one, right? Because you got a bunch of W action here in the momentum indicators. You got volume rising. You've got the MACD trying to confirm this bull div. So I think we're still pointed down. You know, you're almost at the point where this, you know, we have a rule. If you see a bearish momentum divergence, you got to cool your jets. So this might be the process of us breaking that cooling your jets. And I tell you, if this divergence comes in, especially with these W's in the momentum indicators, any kind of bullish action here, if you're interested, I'm okay with you stepping in. Especially with the fact that this was just straight down like this. I mean, just vicious. Probably there's your trend line there. Yeah, there. So if you're going to get any kind of W, and my hunch is probably if you do a fib off of that high down to that low, 38.2, calling pump chaser zone, all that kind of stuff. In this case, dump chaser zone. And also, too, notice the volume profile. Yeah. So probably the extent of your rally is up into this area here. Right up against all these old highs. Do you want to let this happen? Just burst it up to 38.2. Get it on the other side of this downtrend line and then hunt your W's to actually set up your buy setups. I'm okay with that. You want to try and sharpshoot your way into here? Just understand this is still a downward pointing market. We've had one really nice day. And I think there's going to be some follow through from this. Market appears to feel a little bit better about the situation. Then, of course, Mr. Putin could come along and just shit on everybody here tomorrow. So just be aware of that. This is the problem with when you're trading in a war environment or, you know, even through that COVID environment. Hopefully you all can see that all it takes is one of these people to go and sneeze and all hell can break loose. And it has nothing to do with your actual story. So just be aware of that. Now, having said that, right, we got an 8, so that's nice. Tom DeMarc fans will like that. I suppose you could probably also do foggy boggies. What do you think the odds are 2.618 is up in this area? I'd say probably pretty good. So if we go there. All right, take it easy, Paul. Up to there. Those would definitely be levels I'd be interested in. And actually, I like this. This makes a lot more sense to me. Because I think what happens is we go Bush, confirm the bull div on MACD. I'm a bull div, look at me. Broke the bear. The bulls have come back to life. Woohoo! Willie's nice and stupid. W's and RSI. Bands are still really wide. So I think Sjord would be like, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know whether I really want to be coming into a market that's looking like that. It's too much volatility. If I'm not mistaken, I think I remember Bitcoin actually put in like a perfect Sjord setup here, if I'm not mistaken, today. Was it Bitcoin? Were you in the meeting, Ben? Do you remember that? I mentioned it. I go, holy jeez, I bet you Sjord would love that. And he was in the call. He's like, yeah, that's my setup. So, anyway, I can't really...
Yeah, I think I remember seeing you do that.
I beg your pardon?
I vaguely remember that on the call today.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was that we were looking at. Oh, you know what? It was probably this crazy little one that I'm in love with right now.
The Veda.
What's a... Vader, Darth Vader. Dun, 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 dun. No, and it makes perfect sense, right? Now it makes perfect sense. Duh. I never even clued into this. What day is it today?
May the 4th be with you.
Huh?
May the 4th.
Yeah, okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So that's interesting. I never clued into that. I wonder if that's the reason why they pumped it today. What a doofus. But look how the RSI, the bands squeeze together like that. Oh, Stuart loves that kind of stuff. Anyway, I don't know if that was that asset or not. I can't remember. But anyway, tell you, man, I love this Vader. Look at it, it's going higher, cocksucker. Slow down. I don't know whether Stuart got in or not. I mean, it had the most beautiful little bottom right down here. I think if you look at it like 4 hour, it's just perfect. Yeah. Well, yeah, it looks like that was a double bottom too. Look at that beautiful bull div. I mean, it's just everything that I teach you guys. And there, yeah, look at that RSI compression. Take a screenshot of that. Seriously, folks. You guys... you're here to try and learn to what does a half decent trade idea look like? I'm telling you, just concentrate on see if you can find that and that and this. Oops. Kind of hard to see with all of them on, but the band's totally tightened up right here. And of course, you are all fans of Willie. So cool when I go out on the internet now and people talk about their setups and they're like, "Well, I have to have Willie on my screen." It's so cool. And I don't know whether he's probably looking down from us the other side because he was a pretty older gentleman. But I'll put that in the lounge. So there is that chart. I'm not quite sure how I'll do that for. Maybe I'll go that as a link. There was something else I was going to put. Oh, yeah, I guess. No, I can't remember what it is. Oh, that's interesting. Are you going to work? Hey, there we go. I'm serious. Take a screenshot of that. Like, I'll even give you a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Click. Okay, so everybody's had an opportunity to take a screenshot of that. That's what you're looking for. Reload zone against bottom end of the range, bull div, compression in the bands, Willie stupid, rising volume breakout. I mean, that's it right there. I don't. If you fancy yourself a trader, it doesn't matter whether it's soybeans, whether it's Vader wrapped ether, whether it's Bitcoin. It doesn't matter. That's what you want to see. You learn how to buy that, you will get stinking rich. It's just that simple. I don't know. Somebody showed me that 30 years ago. Still trying. It's easier said than done. But I'm telling you, that's it right there. Okay, so what do you think? Did we give this thing justice?
Yeah, I started filling out the form
Right.
as far as with divergence and structure.
I like location, but don't have any divergence, don't have any structure.
Okay.
So no indicator confirmation just yet, but it's growing. Yeah. And for this community, if you want to consider a lower time frame trade, that's what I think is set up here. There's a lower time frame long working, but it's not the investor. So what I'd even do is this is my sort of prognostication. No idea if it plays out, but that's what I would be hoping for. So we'll put that in the sheet, and then next time we stumble upon this thing, it'll be interesting to see how this played out. All right. Whoops. And actually I did that wrong, didn't I? I want to go like that and then go like that. Okay, so we got one done. Woohoo! Way to go, Brian. Lower time frame, long working, not for investor. Why don't we say early for investor? Sandbox. What's that? Sandbox. Tastes great.
I think this is another kind of Decentraland
Oh, is it?
project.
Maybe we'll do our show over here if they're nice and cheap. Maybe
Yeah.
we don't have any of these. I gotta go buy some. Let's see, is there a trade? Actually, interesting. You can see the bull div coming in here. So this is fascinating, eh? How we said that, kind of thinking that May, June was supposed to be our bottom. And I even heard Powell himself today say that year-over-year comparison starting to get attractive. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. And if you want to go check out the I don't know whether I did it. Actually, Joshua, maybe if you're watching this, Josh Morris. We might want to update, and maybe you've already done it, but we might want to update. God, it's incredible that cool work that he does. Jeez, so impressive. But we might want to update the blog. Although, how the hell do you get there? I'm so terrible at navigating these things. Wow, look at all this. God, he's so cool. All these. Hey, I heard William Defoe. That's who this guy is, right? I think that's his name. You got an honorary doctorate? I think a doctorate from the University of Wisconsin or something like that. A doctorate in the arts.
There you go.
So we're actually going to have to call him Dr. Defoe. Oh, God. Anyway. This guy. Gotta say, man, such a cool blog. I'm so glad we got this up and running. This is so boss. Man, this is worth the price of fucking subscription alone. This would say you learn so much off of this, and it's totally for free. Where is Mr. There he is. This guy here. Go and watch this. He does his commentary at stockcharts.com. I'm not, because we're giving this away for free, I don't think there's any copyright or issue. And if anything, go subscribe to Larry's newsletter. It will do you a world of good. Anyway, his comments, and then he did another follow-up video, which I think I put out in my Twitter stream. You can find it. So there's sort of like a part 2 to this. And he explicitly said, just wait for the inflation numbers to peak out. Just wait for the anecdotal evidence that the Fed's in front of this. And like I said, the Fed spooked the market by saying they were going to go 75 points, or they didn't say, but they sort of intonated. And the market started pricing that in, and of course equity prices were falling. And basically they got what they wanted. They may have talked the market off of the ledge, and they may have talked inflation back into the box. And we've said that there's a very easy way for you to figure out whether they have done that job or not. And that is this image. So we want to keep an eye on how the corporate interest rate market acts, because keep in mind, the corporate interest rate market is beyond the control of any government. It is the market. So M's are the sign that the Fed's got in front of the inflation curve. They've broken the back of it, and at least we're not in a crisis anymore. It was getting a little sketchy there, folks. I mean, listening to basically the talking heads, just talking, and more importantly, listening to guys that I respect in the market like Stanley Druckenmiller going, what the hell is going on to the United States of America? And he's like, one of the biggest hedge fund managers in the world. You better pay attention if he's freaking out. And I'm sure the banksters probably went, oh, Mr. Druckenmiller, I'm sorry, sir. You know what? We'll get our act together. Because frankly speaking, I watched a video with him about 6-8 months ago, and he was like, okay, I'm starting to lose faith in these guys. And when the big fund managers start losing faith in you, then you've got problems. Anyway, point is, the rhetoric of rising interest rates and all that, I think the Feds have gotten in front of this curve, and lo and behold, here comes big fat M's. And if we look at the Fed funds, now this is just the spot market, but you can see the Fed themselves have been moving aggressively to raise their rates. So we'll see how this goes. Now, the teal is sort of the spot market. The contracts are going to expire shortly. This white is like the June series, and green is the September series. So we'll see if M's come in here, then we know they've gotten in front of the inflation bugaboo, and guess what's going to rally? And the interesting thing here is that, you look at, we'll look at this sand, same sort of thing. We said this before. The year-over-year comparison should probably peter out somewhere in May, June. Well, here we are in May. This is another example, and actually this is an interesting one. You notice, of course, there's your top of the market there in November. Usually, we have some sort of seasonal rally here. So, I don't know whether we can actually experience a new bull market. I think that might be beyond us for now. But could we at least have things like 50% retracements? And of course, all of these companies and all these entities, they are continually working on building a better mousetrap. Maybe they build a better metaverse that gives you stronger, faster, more powerful metaversing, and the world just leaves Decentraland, all comes piling into here. Definitely happen. Point here is, sort of things like don't chase. So when we're up here, don't touch the damn thing. Just, let it do its normal, natural correction. There's a good old Ben. He's sitting down here right at that level right there. There's good old Benkoff check. There's the volume profile. And, we talked about shelves earlier. You can see where everybody's long this thing. So they're working its way down. And as they're working its way down into location, to all intents and purposes, I don't really have a problem if somebody, if I was running a book of business and somebody came to me and said, hey, I got this sand idea and I'm thinking about starting to dollar cost average my way in. Is this an okay place to think about that, or am I walking into a trap? I pull up the chart and go, yep, perfectly fine by me. Of course, get to work. So, if we want to do our checklist, location looks good. Indicator confirmation. Of course, we want to see that nice bullish MACD divergence. Interesting, compared to that other one that we were just looking at, notice this one actually has broken out. Hello. So that's actually a confirmed bullish divergence. Lower lows in price, higher lows in indicator. We've gone through the middle part of the M. And often it takes these big up days like this to actually fire these divs. You're going to need some sort of rally that's going to sort of kickstart everything. Kind of like what you saw here when it broke out here. We're probably going to see a bit of follow through. I think this is what's going to happen with Bitcoin. So you're going to see at least a week or two of some sort of follow through. What I'm worried about, like I showed you before, is that middle of the May. That's when we top out on the corner and we start rolling over. But that's weeks down the road. Let's not worry about that now. Let's just enjoy this while we're here. Willie's nice and stupid. So, to all intents and purposes, I think we can actually say we've got indicator confirmation. You can even see the bulls went to sleep. Very sleepy, very sleepy. Kind of woke up here a little bit with 45 million coins traded. Then went back to sleep, back to sleep, and then all of a sudden, boom! 52 million coins traded by the bulls. So the bulls are trying to wake up here. And then look at this. 41 million, 34 million. So they're doing a bit of business. Not bad. I think probably the only thing that's missing is we want to see a nice big fat W. Fast trend line. It's probably, I mean, it's relevant. Just show me a W, but you can see there just are no W's. A little slower trend line. Probably something along those lines. I like that. So where's that? There. To there. To there. To there. Hello. So it sure looks to me like we got the bull div. And the div probably confirms on the break above this trend line. It's not an accident. So what we really want to see is, can I please have a nice W? Get that? We're ready to go. So not bad. I would say this is probably, you know, like setup wise, hunting setups, that's getting close. And again, as I'd said earlier, if we think that the bottom should come in sometime in that May-June window, well, here we are. It's probably somewhere over this next, you know, probably like 4 to 8 weeks that your ultimate low is going to come in here. Does it look exactly like this? I don't know. I mean, maybe it would suck horsecocks, but maybe it's got to come in like that. And we have one more rip against the low, and then we W out on the other side of this trend line. You never know in this game. So I would just simply say, you know, we have location, yes. We have indicator confirmation, yes. Now can I please have a W? And until we get that W, just be forewarned that we are sort of flirting in this big old value vacuum. And if somebody comes along and poops on this thing, right, there's no reason why we can't dump against good old Ben's level there. No reason at all. And there's probably a bunch of buy orders just sitting right above this level here, just waiting, going, come on, come on, come on down to me. You're so close. Come on, come on. So in this sort of arena, dollar cost averaging, fine with it. Traders sharpshooting, yeah, maybe a little bit more price structure to work with, and then we've got something to go. Does that make sense? Hope so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's 8 o'clock. So why don't we, and we'll just say, waiting on big fat W in price, please. Why don't we maybe look at a name or two from the audience? I know you guys posted a few ideas for us to look at. We looked at one already. Any thoughts on anything that I've said here, Paul? I haven't really leaned on you too much tonight.
Yeah, nothing new.
Okay.
I am hunting this sand name too.
Okay. All right, cool. And by all means, if you guys want to go on the platform over the coming week and then report back, you know what, Ben? Why don't we call it a field trip? I'm gonna volunteer. Ben, take a field trip to Sand and come back and give us a nice book report on it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get one of those yellow bus NFTs.
Actually, we used to have a really cool. Did you ever see the TRI school bus? Back when we first started the site, we used to have the logo of the TRI school bus.
All right.
All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Somebody's asked us to look at Atom. We did look at AXS. ICX. Cosmos. Comp.
ICX.
ICX. That's one you want to look at?
Yeah, has some rumors about Ram president or something.
All right. So,
I'm already long this one on 4-hour chart.
There's a juicy scandal going on.
No.
What did you say? You
Like
said there was something going on?
yeah, some news.
Oh, we lost your audio there. Maybe if you got a link to the news, I can share it on the screen or something. All right. Well, while we'll wait for Paul to do that. Interesting how this is almost exactly like that other name that we looked at, eh? Where we had that nice little rally a month or so ago, and they brought everything right back down, totally right back against their bottom. Also, too, this looks like another example where had you oh wow, look how close this is. Man, it's incredible what these guys do, eh? So that's an interesting level, eh? That would be, in fact, on the site we like to call that the noob stop, where a lot of new people to trading place their stop, and like that name I showed you earlier, that one in particular dumped through that low, but it didn't break that low. So somebody over there is saying they want us to look at LCX. Wait, what am I supposed to be looking at here, guys? LCX or ICX? LK.
So the earlier comment was ICX.
Is
I think that looks like an I to me.
Well, we can do both, and it's no big deal.
Unless is it the same person down the bottom? Oh wait, no, that is the same person who's corrected it.
Yeah,
LCX.
so it must be LCX.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's quick boot this icon. Right back down against the floor. You want to go and hunt entries against that. Interesting to see we're getting that another example of the bullish divergence. Do you guys see a sort of reoccurring theme here, people? Am I crazy? Maybe I am. I've been doing this so long, maybe I see this stuff and it's sort of imaginary. I guess you can sort of see it here where we started to get higher lows and higher highs in the momentum indicator, but lower lows in price, and then all of a sudden, boom, big rally. So sure feels like another rally's coming here. And again, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of this. I mean, that's what that image is there. That it's ugly as sin. This was awkward as AF, as you social media people like to say. But it actually, I think, looks like that image, right? Where we came down, we bottomed, we had sort of a move off of the lows, then we came right back down, and we're just messing with people's heads. We're right against these lows, then all of a sudden we got a big friendly Fed come out today. And this actually kind of looks like, remember we were talking about Adam and Eve's and Adam and Olga's and Steve's and Eve's and all that. This kind of looks like Olga or Steve. So, you know, J-Lo booty bottoms, right? We love them because they're nice and round and very symmetrical and woo la la, right? Well, you know, maybe we call this a Brian. I mean, that's probably what Brian's ass looks like. Just a train wreck. But, you know, a Steve, Olga, whatever you want to call it, that's sort of what that looks like. But that looks like an Adam. Pretty slick. I think probably David would probably say that this is your Eve and this is your Adam. So not bad. That's a good sign. And again, are we at the top end of the range? Are we at the bottom end of the range? Well, we're definitely not chasing here. You're down at the bottom end of the range. You're actually in a friendly area of the volume profile. You can see how we've basically come right back to where everybody and their brother is long. So believe it or not, that looks pretty darn good. So whoever asked me to look at that ICX, it doesn't look bad at all. Definitely buyable, trade location check. You can see the indicators are trying to turn. You got Willie Stupid. So I think you give indicator confirmation. And because this bottom is actually still working and it held, I think you could give like a half a check to market structure. If you got a nice little W down in here on the other side of this trend line, then I think this thing's ready to rally. So there's the trend line. There's the break. Let's
get a nice little W here. Again, man, we're seeing this over and over and over tonight. Lots of these examples. And Paul says that he is long off of the 4-hour chart. So down off of that 4 hours, there's Paul's W. Sloppy, but a W is a W is a W. So there it is. It's making higher lows and higher highs, and there's the bull div. So yeah, nice trade, sir. Nice big volume push. Great example of volume impetus. This is actually a concept you're not going to learn anywhere else on the interneting. I don't see anybody teach this. But it actually is extremely powerful. So hopefully after I pass, you guys all put this in the I don't know, technical analysis vocabulary, biblia, or what they used to call those, encyclopedias. Because this, if anything, I'd love to hear people say, looking down maybe 100, 200 years from now, hey, that's just a beamish volume impetus move. That would be great. But anyway, a boy can dream. Okay, so that's ICX. Totally did that by accident. Now let's go look at the one the person did try and ask. LCX. LCX, US dollar. I guess there's a... Oh, you can also do it on Sushi Swap and Uniswap. Oh, lots of choices. Versus the currency over there on Coinbase. I always like to start off at a highest time frame possible. So there's your weekly chart. Coinbase listing, probably huge pump and dump, blah, blah, blah. Not really any weekly base here yet. It's trying to find. Interesting to see someone came in and bought. Be curious to see, whoever is interested in this LCX, what happened the week of March 21st. Was there some sort of new product, promotional event? Some big fat cat came in, took a position. You can see right through there, beautiful buy signal. So anybody who's been working with me for a while, I guess I can just go boobity boo. All right, W on the other side. There are the W's. There's the trade. Away you go. Still contained within the context of a down market. I mean, that's encouraging. Hopefully you got your trade off, made a bit of money. I suppose if you could, this would be an interesting one to see whether this is some sort of, it almost looks like there's a horizontal support and resistance line right there. So does this try and form some sort of head and shoulders underneath this, and then the acceptance above there is a big sort of range breakout? Actually, probably that conversation we had earlier about chaos. Oh, well, what a surprise. It's almost funny. You do this after a while and you're just like, well, I guess that shouldn't surprise anybody. So I think that level sort of ran into that chaos level there, and it just stopped on a dime. And remember we had said earlier, right? Was this just the move? If it was, then we would come right back to the original breakout. And sure enough, boom, straight back. So I think this is probably done for now. You got to wait for a new W to come in to draw a new chaos level. And if you're really lucky, I suppose, if this turned here and this was the W, this big down, up, down breakout, that would be kind of cool. Then you'd have something to work with like that's that big. My hunch is there'll be something sort of down in here that you could use to draw the next sort of chaos kind of study. And then if this push could blast through 2.618, like go up to 4669 here, right into that level, then it would break this out. And then you might just get, notice 2.618 and 877 are almost the same level. Isn't that kind of cool? So here, I think this was a great, just simple message from the market that this was a fun little consolidation. Nice little rally. Yeah, had bullish div here. RSI did get overbought. Willie never did get stupid, but I just think maybe in the short term, whatever this was, this looks like it was some sort of news event, like it was listed on some sort of exchange, or, maybe they had like a new thing that opened up, right? All that kind of stuff. Elliott wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we getting pretty washed out? I think so. Look at this profile. That's a sexy profile. You love when you see a profile that looks like that. When you see it blocky like this is saying the market has fully explored this range. And it has, right? Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It has fully explored that range. If it can accept up top here, first off, notice 4669 lines up nicely with the top of value there. So if it can accept up top here, I think we probably have to spend just as much time on the other side of this. So break up through here, then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth to fill in all of this. Not a bad looking name though. Like the biggest problem that I had when I was a broker, and I don't really see it that much when I talk to you guys, because as a broker, you got to sit there and kiss the client's ass, right? Because you just get paid commissions. So you can't really be critical. If I saw, and now that I run this website and all this kind of nonsense and teach this school, if I saw somebody come on the site and say, yeah, Brian, I just loaded up on this new issue on Coinbase, what are you, stupid? And maybe they won't sign up for the course, but at least I won't get sued. Because trust me, the weird thing in the brokerage industry is rich old white guys, they will sue for the stupidest of reasons. And I had one guy that came on the site in 1718 market, and I've told you guys this. The guy was literally looking for reasons to be able to sue us, and he just kept trying. You never told us that, and all the other students in the class go, yeah, he did. Yeah, go watch the video. Are you going to actually do the homework? Did you actually try the homework? No. So... I guess the point is that I don't really see it too much in site participants. And then, of course, if they did do it, then they're not going to say so because they don't want to be embarrassed. But when I was a broker, God, I used to, this was the most painful part of my business, was just to say, you know what, just wait for this thing to W out. Ideally, I would prefer to have some sort of price history here to gauge this pullback. I have a feeling, and because it's Coinbase, it's one of these kind of things that there probably is data off another site and it got ramped up into this Coinbase listing. So that would be the first thing that I would ask is, where was this thing before this? Do either of you guys know whether this thing has any older history? Maybe yes, maybe no. How about this Uniswap? Let's see what we got there. Oh, there you go. All right, so lots of data. Oh, yeah, there you go. That makes more sense. So that's probably exactly what that was. It was that Coinbase listing. And this is the sad part of capitalism, folks. You have to learn this. This wasn't the end of, I beg your pardon. This wasn't the beginning of a new move. The listing on Coinbase. This was the end of a very long process to actually get this thing to the point that it could be listed on Coinbase. So in a weird sort of way, you as an investor have to appreciate that whenever you see an IPO, whenever you see a new issue, whenever you see a ICO, they used to call it years ago. Now I think they call it an IDO now, right? The initial DEX offering or something like that. Is that right? Did I get that terminology right? Maybe it's changed now already.
I think so. Yeah, that
All
sounds
right.
right.
What you have to understand is that is the end. And that's actually the profit-taking event for a lot of people in the capitalist business game, the capitalist game. And I think that's it. This is actually again, geez, Chris, if you want to take a little shot of this, I don't know whether you're watching or Josh, for a little sort of tutorial on how markets work. That's a really, really good lesson. So when you see an asset like this coin come to market here, and you're like, why on earth would this thing come to market and then instantly go into a downtrend? Well, the answer is that this was the very end of a very, very long process to actually get this thing listed. And this was like historically one of the biggest IPOs ever. So what a surprise, the end, all the insiders are selling and taking profits. And what does it have to do? Of course, the public, they all come in and buy. Now we have to get to the point where the public gets washed out, and then this thing comes back down to some respectable fundamental valuation ratio, and institutional players step back in on the buy side. Interesting too, we talked about location. This one I've been accumulating. So there's a number of interesting locations working, but look at that div that's forming. Look at the size of that div. That's what she said. And then look at Willie down here. That's what she said too. Jeez, she's talking a lot tonight. And then, what's interesting is if you just do a 50% rule off of the range since last year's IPO, well, technically this thing should bounce to about 250, 260 bucks. So here we are at 120. That's more than a double. So anyway, really good analogy of, again, the IPO, ICO, IDO, Coin, and it's funny, it's Coinbase that we're talking about, because even Coinbase went through exactly the same thing. This is basically a profit-taking event. Now, the cool part about this is if you haven't bought, of course, well, maybe this actually we're actually getting into areas where this might even get a bit attractive. Reload zone. Zebenkov check. You can see when they checked him last time, he went, get your ass out of here. Did it again, get your ass out of here. Yeah, get your ass out of here. He's Ben. Actually, how do you say that in Aussie? Can you say that in Aussie?
Bugger off.
Get off my lawn. What?
Bugger off.
The dingo ate my baby. Isn't that how it goes? That's a Russia. No, that's a Romanian good morning. With coffee and cigarettes. And one of our day traders, I mean, bless his heart, I don't know why. He's one of these digital nomad dudes. And he went to Georgia, and he was hanging out in Georgia for the past 6 months. And we're like, get the hell out of there. So at least now he's moved to Turkey now. So now he says he's in Turkey, and man, everybody smokes like a chimney there. So I guess Paul's actually probably one of the few TRIers that still smokes. Wow, I have no idea. Oh, that's what good morning means. All right. I'm not gonna say that out loud because you might be setting me up to swear. Just kidding. All right, so I think your Benkov checks, Coinbase IPO, ICO, IDO, whatever the hell you want to call it, buying back into value. You can see where the POC is. Where should your stink bids be? Makes sense. A little bit off of the lows now. So I don't know whether you're going to be able to get your cheap coins. Brian, he loves 78.6. Notice I've talked to you guys about this before. Quite often what I see happens is the market ultimately bottoms right off that 78.6 level. I don't know if there's anything really new to do here. This is what we call a narrow sideways channel. So you could make an argument that if there's the next sort of momentum trade is probably just going to be nothing more than a resolution through this channel one way or the other. So there's your double bottom. It's pretty wide, huge tails. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. It looks like this thing is subject. Keep in mind this is the ether wrapped. So when you go out on DeFi and people panic dump, I think that's what causes this crazy ass volatility. So I don't know how realistic that is. Maybe you want to just stick on Coinbase. I don't know. But you can see there is a double bottom. Actually, it's a 1, 2, 3 lows and a couple highs. Triple bottom? I don't know. It's tough to say. Could be a inverted head and shoulders. But that definitely looks like a pivot level. And you can see, volume is starting to build up off of this node. So this is a pretty sort of, a lot of people are in here. The only problem with that, though, is a guy that I used to work with. Actually, we watch his videos every morning, Johnny Hoagland. He wants to buy here, down below value. And he wants to sell here, above value. He doesn't really want to be buyer or seller at value. So, these kind of tails down here, he's gonna be in there. He's the guy buying that causes this tail to zip up. And then this rally here, he's the guy who's selling above value here to cause it to come back down into value. So, it's really a question on what sort of time frame perspective trader you are. Do you even really care? Maybe you're like, Brian, I'm an accountant, a lawyer, doctor. I've got a life elsewhere. And that's why we build things like the Nanny Nibbles kind of strategy, little old lady risk management, where, really all I care is you're not going to bet more than 5% of your stake on any one single idea. So that way, if it goes off the board, you're not toast. Maybe you come in here and you like the idea and you're like, Brian, I just want to get in on this thing. Am I chasing? No, you're not. There's the Coinbase IPO. So all that's been washed out. Indicators could look better. I'm not saying they're looking great. Like I said, they kind of look middle of the road here. But you just throw yourself on a dollar cost averaging plan. Just nibble away 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. I don't have a problem with that at all. So that's probably the way I would look at him. And again, I see a lot of this market looks like this. We've just had an absolute shitty, 6 months of just crap. Hey, you guys getting kind of sick of this bullshit? Isn't it about time we rally here? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, there's going to have to be a rally. They can't take it down forever. So, I can see the seed shift is getting ready to turn. You can see it. Check how long it took for this turn to happen, right? From there to there, right? And, we'll just stabilize that. So, there, roughly. Come on, you. So, could we do the same, right? What would be the same? It would just be there to, hey, we're getting pretty close to rally time, boys and girls. And remember what Brian said over the past, probably 2 or 3 months? Mr. Powell has told us that the year-over-year inflation comparisons are the worst through May and June. And we also said, Mr. Williams said, as soon as the inflation data starts to look like the Fed's got it under control, a la peanut butter sandwiches, no, a la this chart, we're starting to see M's and we're trending down. And watch out, we might see a hell of a rally. And I do find it interesting that on the weekly basis, you can see how quickly, in this particular cycle, look how far we jumped in 2 weeks. Bang, bang. And this market rallied from 4.25 all the way up to 680. So that's $150 roughly on 4.25. So that's that would be like, say, 40,000, us rallying up to 55,000. That would not surprise me one bit here. Is that the start of a new bull or just a dead cat bounce within a secular bear? I think it's more the latter than the former. But I don't want to get into that shit right now. Let's enjoy this rally. Let's go make some money. Like I said, we've got a little window here. Somebody's flashed the green light. So like names like this, let's go out and just make some bucks and enjoy this little seasonal rally window. Because I think there is some serious money to be made on some of these names that look like this. So, okay, that's 8:30. So I've been blabbing away here for a good couple hours. I hope you guys enjoyed that offering. Didn't talk a hell of a lot of names, but hopefully I gave you a few ideas to chew on. I suppose the only thing left for us to do is maybe just give an idea of what we think is going to happen in the coming week. If nothing less, at least we were all thinking up, and the market actually did go up. We got to give ourselves a pat on the back for that. At least we weren't like, oh, this market's going to go down, and it just screams higher in our faces. So, with that said, Paul, what do you think is going to happen this coming week?
+2.
Oh, he's back. Oh, he's going even more bullish.
Yep.
So Paul's looking for
It's time for bulls.
All right, there you go. I like that attitude. Got a lot of bullishness in the market, I'll tell you that much, by crackers. So
Yeah.
all right, now Ben, what are you gonna do? You guys are scaring me. Where's Ben? Ben's over here, right? Yeah.
Maybe I'll do one more zero before we.
An unchanged? Or did I hear one? I didn't.
Yeah, I'll go zero.
Oh, all right. So more treading water. And would this be zero?
Yeah, for this week, what just happened?
Yeah, would that have been a
Yeah,
zero? Okay.
yeah.
So a little bit more treading water, eh? Okay, and then the old Beamish. What the hell is the Beamish gonna say here? I don't know if I've had these colors are correct or not. A little bit later. Let's see. You know, I think I'm gonna go with one again. And I'll split you two. And because I like to do it, just because I like to punish myself. And of course, fascinating that I got last week completely ass backwards. I am going to. I always like to sort of put on top. In a weird sort of way, I think it's going to be the exact opposite of what I said last week. Where the hell is the damn chart? Maybe it's over here. Nope. Oh, darn. Up here. That's the futures house. That's not the right chart. That's the stock market. Yeah, fudge. Oh, here we are. Oh, I've got the wrong list on here. Sorry, everyone. Okay, here, I'll just do this quickly. BTC USD. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so our next meeting. What are we going to be doing? So I was thinking up and down. So this sine wave seems to be pretty accurate here. I think like this lower one. So in a weird sort of way, actually, by the time we meet, we're going to be meeting next week on an up note. So I'm thinking. So Paul is thinking it's going to be higher than that. From there. Yeah, I like that. I think we're going to be somewhere in here. I don't think we'll be beyond there. So I like +1. Yeah, I like that. Okay. And of course, it was completely backwards last week. But I think what I wanted to post here was at first I want to see down and then I want to see up. So where did I have that? Darn. Bear with me here. I thought it was here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so I'm going to say first down, then up into mid next week. All right. So what probably happens is we continue up, then top out on Saturday and go down into next Wednesday. But anyway, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. What's that, Paul?
Like, just same probably will be up and afterwards down.
All right. If you want to post your sort of what direction you expect, totally fine. You don't have to, but I kind of want to see if I can also do this. And then, of course, see how wonderfully wrong I am. If anything, I like doing this because, I demonstrate on the site day in, day out how to day trade and trade setups. And actually, I'm running at about 60-65% accuracy right now, so I feel pretty good about the demonstrations that I'm doing. And it just goes to show, you can clearly see here, I would be willing to bet that I'm not even close to even 50%. I'd probably say I'm even less, maybe 20% accurate with my opinions of what I think is going to happen to the market. And none of us have actually been very good at predicting what's going to happen. So if anything, I actually really like this because it's a really, really good analogy and you'll notice that they never do this on any of the business channels, CNBC or, Wall Street Week with Louis Rukeyser. Mind you, it's not Louis anymore. Or any brokerage houses, they will never, ever do this. Why? Because they're no better at this than we are. And it just is a really great analogy that we don't trade our opinions because they're worthless. We trade setups. Setups actually do pretty well at making money. So go figure. All right, so we'll see how we do. The good part is we've got 3 of the 4 votes covered. So odds are we should have one of us right. So my fingers are crossed. That would be funny if we're all wrong, though. There's a big... Keep in mind, usually what happens right after a Fed meeting is the whole market just tanks. So we'll see. Yeah, that would make me laugh if that's what happens. But... Okay, folks, time for some closing thoughts. Mr. Paul. Oh, Mr. Paul, you're not very happy. Now you want to change your vote to -1? Is that what you want to do? Can't change it now. You're locked in.
No.
Oh, you're saying
It's
-1 to what I'm saying?
The only one who wasn't put it on the spreadsheet, -1.
All right.
Probably.
So, some closing thoughts for these good people. Paul, what do you think? What's something on your mind that is good to leave these people thinking?
Yeah, my sound is quite bad, but just trade your setups and respect the risk management.
Trade your setups. All right. Works well. Ben, closing thoughts?
Send some PMA to Brian and Liam tomorrow.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It seems to work, so thanks. I
Yeah,
know
absolutely.
tomorrow's adventure will be a good one if you think that. So thank you. I love that. Thank you very much, Ben. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And something else that jumped into my mind today, I watched a YouTube video of this 70-year-old guy, and he was shredded. He had abs. He looked like a 20-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
And they asked him, they said, "What's the key?" And he said, this is crazy. He said, consistency and positive mental attitude.
Really?
And that's something that you talk about a lot as well. So it's one of those things that just applies to, I guess, every facet of life, So if that was a message for everyone, consistency, positive mental attitude.
Sick. Wow, Words to live by. It gives me shivers when you say that. I think I've told you
Yeah.
guys that I believe that Spirit is guiding this project. And it wants the best intentions for us. So it knows what the best intentions are. It just doesn't know how to vocalize it. So that's beautiful, Ben. That's a cool story. In fact, if you have that YouTube video, I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll send it your way.
Awesome. All right. I don't know whether Paul's been practicing or not. Should we put him on the spot again? What do you think, Paul? Can you give me a me? No. He just said screw off. All right. Well, Ben, you want to take us on out of here this week? I think I just got the finger from Romania. All right. The only thing left for us to say tonight is...
Bye for now.
Where'd it go, dude? Bye, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you, Paul. Love you. Hugs and kisses.